Hey guys, got here really quick. I just wanted to talk about a suggestion for kind of fixing the issue I have with the artist, which is that whole trap play style, which is it just incentivizes the worst part about the game from both sides. It's just holding W. She blocks off all the loops, so the survivor has no choice but to just leave the loop. Eventually, once he gets to a corner of the map, killer gets a hit. Might take a while, so it's not really overpowered. Like I said, on both sides, it's just incentivizing the least interesting part about the game, in my opinion, which is just holding forward. So I think the best way to rectify that is something a lot of people have suggested, and I think it is a good suggestion. Just simply make it so that the idle crows cannot damage you. And of course, we need to have a trade off for that now. But right now, if you have the swarm on you and you run into an idle crow, it's as if you got hit. So it's sort of like this whole like Legion problem where you are eventually going to get hit no matter what you do. If she just keeps blocking off, um, if she keeps blocking off exits and entrances to loops, eventually you're going to get to a corner of the map where you can't W to another one, and then she will eventually hit you. It's not even good for her. It's not, like overpowered or anything like that. And it's not interesting for you. It's just the worst part about chases. And I think that's the part that needs to be addressed. So if we make it so that the actual idle crows cannot damage you, then that whole trap play style is not as effective. And, there are trap based killers. Like, the trapper and the hag can both kind of do the same thing she can, but they have to stand still for a couple seconds to put their traps on the ground. She can drop her crows and just sort of keep moving as she's doing it, which sort of in a chase makes her better than trapper and hag. It makes them obsolete. So I think that role should be filled by those killers, and she should do something a little different. However, we can't just take that ability away and then just say, okay, whatever, let's just move on. I think there needs to be something, a trade for that. So instead of the idle crows making it so that they damage you if you have the swarm on you, there are two options. I think option A is you make it so if you have the swarm on you and you run into an idle crow, you make it so the artist's power, the cooldown just immediately comes back, it refreshes. So there's sort of a trade-off now. If you run through that, now she's going to have her power back immediately, and that she can now shoot the wall-piercing shots, which allows more of an option for counterplay, because at least she still has to aim at something, and it is not exactly a trap that's just going to immediately hurt you. The survivor has a chance to evade the attack. It's still heavily in the killer's favor, especially consider she'd be able to do a triple shotgun attack that covers a much wider area than, say, Pyramid Head through a wall. But unlike Pyramid Head, she needs a requirement for that shot to be able to do damage, which is having, someone run into the trap or hitting a previous crow. The other option is you can just simply make it so if you run into a crow while you already swarmed, you can just make it so that the duration of the swarming on you is reset. So you run through that. Now you are back down to the, you might be 4 out of 5 seconds done with the cleansing of the swarm animation. Now it's back down to 0 again, which is going to have basically the same effect of making you vulnerable to her wall piercing shot while she has 2 or 3 birds up. So it is less punishing for the survivor to just simply try to loop, and it also incentivizes the killer to go for more skillful shots the survivor has a chance to actually dodge. However, it also allows for the possibility for the killer to down people still just as fast. They just have to actually aim an attack now if they want to play in this, trapping play style. It's still heavily in the killer's favor, like I said, because they can still do a triple shotgun attack, which is extremely hard to dodge even through walls, but at least it'll give the survivors some chance to do something other than just like, I have to run through this bird and die now. It's just such a lame feeling. I don't even feel proud when I down people that run into my traps, because like you just wall off the entrance and exit to a loop, and if they have the swarm on them, they just die. It's nothing to do. So I think that would be the best way to address this. It would make her pretty much the same level of strength, but you'd actually have to aim something. So I think that's probably the best way to do it. And there's also other possible benefits for getting your cooldown back if someone runs into a swarm. For example, if somebody like is trying to body block and they have the swarm on them and they try to body block for somebody else or eat one of the other swarms, now you regenerate your power immediately, and then you'll be able to like try to down that person as well. So it allows for a lot more interesting scenarios than just I block off loop, hold W, I block off loop, hold W, you're out of W, now I hit you. I think that's the lamest part about the killer, and if they fix that, I think she's actually pretty cool design. I think the whole trapping playstyle is meant for Trapper and Hag, where she is sort of like a hybrid, where she gets some value out of blocking off loops, but now she still has to aim her ranged attack, and I think that puts her in a pretty unique spot. So I think that would be the best way to do it. Again, not a super unique suggestion. A lot of people have suggested it. I just want to amplify their voice because I think it's a really good idea. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you agree.